Okay.
Well, here we are. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. And today, I love where I'm going here because we're speeding things up, my friends. We are pushing our foot down on the accelerator. We are hitting the velocity we need to because I got the man, the myth, the legend, speaker, CEO, best-selling author, creator of the Velocity Mindset, head of Karr Associates, very good friend of mine, and will soon be a very good friend of yours. You already know him because he's been on Thrive Loud, so this is like a Thrive Loud catch-up. Ron Karr, welcome to Thrive Loud Live. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Lou. How are you doing?
We're good. We're good. We're like, getting through. I'm actually looking at a monsoon outside my door here. I'm not even kidding. I was actually a little concerned. Like, we always have these concerns when I do these live things that something technical will go wrong. And there's only so many things we can control. We can control the internet connection. We can control, how prepared we are. We're beholden to certain technologies. But, when larger powers that be or start messing with the weather, I'm like, oh, please don't let the power go out.
I had the same concern because I'm sitting in the penthouse on the Hudson River, and we're supposed to get dangerous lightning and high winds. It's been the same storm you're getting. So I was wondering, is this going to interfere with the interview?
You know what? Nothing is going to interfere with my conversation with you. So first of all, let's get everyone caught up to speed. Let everyone know how you've been. It's been a very interesting year for everybody. And I could vouch, and I have some knowledge, it's been a real interesting year for you. Maybe bring everyone up to speed. What's going on in the world of Ron Karr?
Well, like everybody else, I had my world upside down with COVID. And so I decided to double down on the book and get it done in time, which is now being released. And I also figured, why not just move to Florida? Why not do it now? And we configured a business model. So I signed an agreement to move to Fort Lauderdale on November 1. And 1 week after I signed it in September, I went for another echo to check up on my aorta valve, which has been leaky. And no one figured that we have to do anything for 10 years, although all of a sudden they said, nope, we're doing it right now. And so unexpectedly, I had an emergency open heart surgery and then a pacemaker put in. But the bottom line is I'm healthier now than I ever was and doing great and just raring to go and get back out there on the golf course and raring to go and meeting people live again.
I'm with you on that, man. There's only so much of this that we can keep doing, right? We definitely want to get to that point that we could be in front of people. You took the time to really expedite and focus on this book. Before I get into the specifics of it, we're gonna go deep on that because we did speak about the velocity mindset the last time you were on Thrive Loud, and I love that now I got something in my hand to deal with. So tell me, from a writing perspective, I love asking speakers this question: how do you get the stuff that's between your ears onto paper? What's your process, the way that you work when it comes to writing?
So I might do it a little differently. First of all, I always hire an editor because in this book especially, I was getting a little more vulnerable, and vulnerability sells, not just to sell books, but I wanted to teach people why vulnerability is important, whether you're a leader or a salesperson or whatever. But so when I was working on the editor, and I said, okay, we need to figure out what the flow is.
Right.
And I spend more time on that than anybody else. And what I mean by that is I know that if I get the table of contents down just right, the chapters laid out and the points, the writing just builds in speed and you get velocity. So what I spend the first part of my writing process is to ask myself when I teach in a book, what's my vision for success? What do I want people walking away with? And what I really wanted was for people to develop a movement, the velocity mindset movement. And the whole concept was, if everybody acted as a leader, not a victim, what would the world be like?
Yeah.
Because with the velocity mindset, that's what leaders do.
So let's go through this specifically as it relates to the thing that you love helping people with most. And that is helping them understand what they need to do to get to the goal, to act and think like a leader.
Right.
When it comes to how you've been managing this process, you had to lead yourself through writing all this book and putting this content out there in a challenging time and getting the message out. Did you deploy the velocity mindset onto yourself, and what was that like?
Absolutely. I mean, I even write about it in the introduction. We rewrote the introduction right before I went into surgery. Because when you get the news, from the surgeon saying, "Hey, you need this now," I go, "You sure?" I said, "Let's put it this way: you have 2 years left, and if you don't do it, you can have sudden death in 6 months."
Oh,
Well, that kind of changes your world and your decision process. And like anybody else who gets that news, I mean, I was totally, in a cortisol swamp. I was like, you know, in a disaster zone, not knowing what to do. And I said, okay, let's do what you are teaching other people to do. If you go through this, what does success look like? Success looked like that it was going to be a really good recovery. It was going to be 1 month of hell, and then I'll be back in cardiac rehab. And before you know it, I visualized myself playing golf in April, which I did, and then getting back to my normal life. And they even told me that what you're going to have in a normal life is you shortened your lifestyle around this issue, meaning you created a new norm and didn't even realize. So you're going to be able to do more things. So I visualized myself doing things bigger and better and faster. That's what I did. That was number one. Because when you have passion around that vision, that's what's going to help you get through the tough times, especially when you have doubts. The second thing is I went to some great surgeons who knew what the heck they were doing. And they actually were poster people for what I put in that book. Because they had empathy for what I was going through. They knew how to have the conversations to calm me down and to get me thinking the right way. And also, they also knew when to have the tough conversations with me, like that surgeon had when she told me if I didn't do it, here's what you're facing.
do you think this is a tough one I was going to ask because I thought about this because I know you fairly well. There's almost that same denial process that happens when something bad happens to you, like the same thing, like, when the realization that your mortality is hitting you, right? Mm-hmm. And that your brain processes these things. And you talk a lot about a lot of the chemicals that go on in your brain when this stuff is happening. And it's really difficult when it's happening to yourself. And especially somebody who has the ability to incite, elevate, lift up, and get people to think that way.
Right.
As this process was happening, not only just changing the way you wrote the book, what has it changed about maybe the way you think about the way you think about the process and how you help people? Because like you said, this was an expedited fashion, right in line with velocity. And here it's happening to you. Right. So any changes that happened to you in the way maybe you think about even your process?
Yes. That along with COVID changed all of us, and then this added it to a new level. So, and I've always been empathetic and I always teach empathy, but I took my empathy to a higher level. Because as I was going through this, I was realizing other people going through their own things also. And here's one thing that was interesting. So, when I was in recovery, people would call, and it was really nice to have people call. But the last thing you want to really do is update another person on what's happening, because you've just done that a number of times and you're tired of telling the same story over and over. And so I would actually, pause, like I teach in a book, before I would actually say hello and say, remember, they care about you, care about them. And what I also realized is that you have to give them the privilege to want to call you, number one, because it's important to them. They need to feel like they can do something. And then number two, you have to honor that and then spend the time and not come across as if you're in a rush or you just don't want to be on the phone. That's typically how I would have responded, because, I didn't want to talk to anybody, basically for a while. They even warned you're going to face depression, because open heart surgery patients do. And I did. As a matter of fact, 3 days after they had the aorta replaced, they had to go back in and put a pacemaker, because the aorta is where the conduction is, and sometimes it interrupts it. Usually it comes back, but if it doesn't come back in 3 days, they put a pacemaker in. And that was really the hardest part for me to get used to, knowing that. And here's why: because when I go to cardiac rehab, they kept shutting me down, because then the pacemaker would pace, and I would feel a little weird. They see waves, said you can't do it, and I said, oh my God, that's not normal. I went back to the guy with the pacemaker, and he goes, look, you don't need it anymore. You need it in case your heart crashes like it did before. So we're going to keep it, but we're going to put on bypass, meaning you don't need to be paced. You can go as high as you want in beats per minute and go exercise and get your heart strong. And that was the game changer for me because there was no more limitations. But when I thought the pacemaker was really impacting me, that was hard to get over. So I understand people have other parts of their lives that are really hard to get over. And sometimes you can't help people. Sometimes you can't fix things for people, and they don't expect that. But what they really would appreciate sometimes is just to be heard.
Yeah, no, it's very true. The ability to listen and connect with people is vital. Let's talk about what's happening now, because as we're joking about the monsoon that's right outside my door, April showers bring May flowers, and we get a little bit of spring. People are getting vaccinated. People are getting out more. Speaking events are starting to come back in certain parts of the country. What are you looking forward to as you're looking ahead? Is this something that you're saying, hey, I can't wait to get back out there? What's your connectivity? What's your mindset right now after this crazy, year of not being able to connect with the people we'd love to connect to?
This is the first year, going a full year straight, where I have not been on a plane in over 40 years.
Amazing.
That is strange. And I was addicted to planes. I mean, I get on the plane and I fall asleep immediately as soon as the engine started kicking off, at the gate. And it was my peace place. No one can bother me or anything else. Now it's like, I don't even want to be on a plane. And so it made me reconfigure. So, what am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to moving to Florida. I am going to move to Florida in the fall. I don't want to deal with the winters here. And we can all work wherever we want. My business comes with me wherever I go. So what COVID taught me is, why wait till 70 and do all these speeches, and make all that money back from all the back surgery you had? You can do that now. Just cut your expenses, live in a nicer place that you can live in shorts and play golf and be happy today. Why wait? So that's what I'm working on. I'm working on relocating myself to Florida. I'm working on working with my clients on a consulting level. And I do want to get back to speaking when they're out there. Do I want to do 100 speeches a year? No.
Understood.
No.
I was just joking about this with another speaker, and they made a great point. I go, what do you think would be worse? Doing 85 in-person speaking gigs and all the exhaustion that you have there, or doing 85 virtual events and you would have to be the producer, executive, manager, technician, and run all this stuff as well. And they go, ooh, that's a toss-up between all the things I'd have to do.
Well, it's not a toss-up for me because I was just hired a producer, which I did.
There you go.
And I go do it.
So as you think about this book, and you've written a bunch of books and best-selling books, and with this, I always love to say it's never different this time. Everything's always got kind of the same ups and downs, but there's always something uniquely special about a new message and a new book. To you personally, what does Velocity Mindset meant to you, the book?
So as you know, I had several back surgeries after my presidency of the National Speakers Association. I was actually off the speaking circuit for 2 years before COVID, recuperating. And when I was laying there, on the pain pills and not being able to do anything, I started looking at my life. And while I've had great success, I realized that I missed out on some really special moments. And the reason is because of the stories I thought were real and my fears. And so turning at that point 60, I'm 64 now, I realized, we don't have much time left. So if you really want to get those moments in, you better do things different. So I developed a real passion for velocity, going out there, getting it done, and not letting the things stop us that normally stop us. So this is more of a passion movement for me than maybe some of the other books I've written. It's really about people learning how to engage others, gain buy-in, eliminate resistance, and achieve better results. And it's obviously for business and leaders, but it's not just for that. These are the things we do every day, whether we're talking with our family members, friends, significant others, or whatever. So what this is about for me, it's a movement. It's about how do we live better lives and have better results so that we're happier. And that's what the Velocity Mindset's about.
Love it. We're going to do something a little different here for you because we didn't do this one when you were on Thrive Loud the first time. So I'm looking forward to this.
Uh-oh.
This is what we call the speed round.
Oh, we did.
Thrive Loud. We did the speed round?
Oh, yeah. But the problem is you asked me about a movie, and I have bad memory, so I couldn't even remember one.
Well, the movie I know I've asked you. I asked you what your all-time favorite movie is, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to take it as a little. We're going to call these things. This is going to be. We're going to call this the New York Florida comparison because listeners need to know. I spent the winter in Florida and I got hooked, and I'm probably not too far behind Ron in wanting to get down and avoid those winters. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you something, and I'm going to ask you what your favorite thing is here in the New York tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and maybe what's something you're looking forward to, your favorite thing down in Florida for each one of them. I'll come back with each one. I know you can handle it. I know you've got the game for this. So
I'm ready.
Okay, we're going to start off with a real easy one.
Yep.
What is your favorite restaurant in the tri-state area that you love to go out to? But once everyone's been free and cleared, we could all go to restaurants and we're all out inside or outside, whatever it might be. In the New York area,
Palm.
The River Palm. All right. What do you love to order when you're there?
Steak, Pittsburgh style.
Pittsburgh style. I love it. Okay. What's your favorite place to eat in the warms, the Sunshine State, a place that you've eaten in the past that you really like to go eat?
I don't have one down there, but I'll have one pretty fast as soon as I get down there.
Okay. Your favorite drink when you're allowed to have drinks. I know you don't drink too much, but your favorite cocktail of choice that you like to have when you're out and about in New York City?
Glenfiddich Scott, 18.
Okay. And what is more of your tropical, beachy type drink, like you're sitting on the beach in a lounge chair type of drink?
A pina colada.
You get a choice of a dessert in the tri-state area, something New York style type of dessert, something you love to eat that the doctor said it's okay for you to eat.
New York cheesecake with strawberries.
With strawberries. All right. And now you get to go, you're walking on the beach and you got on the boardwalk and you get to grab something down there. What type of food are you eating there?
Either a taco or a hot dog or some kind of beautiful Floridian food that I'm going to get to know and love.
I love asking this question, and this has to do with we've just been through COVID, so it's been a very unique and challenging time, and specifically to three types of events. There are sporting events, which we weren't allowed to go to, and now we're starting allowed to go back. There were Broadway shows that we couldn't get to go to. And then there was even like movies or, like concerts, live concerts or whatnot. Of the three, a concert, a Broadway show, or a sporting event, a New York sporting event, maybe a Yankee game, because I know you're a Yankee fan. Which of the three would you want to go back to first?
A Bruce Springsteen concert.
That's why I love this guy. Last words here. As this book comes out, last messages that you want the reader, the person who's going to buy this book, the big takeaway that you know that they're going to gain from being on this program, what would that be?
The only thing that really stops us in life is ourselves, our stories, which are just stories. We create them and we can also rewrite them. So what I'm really hoping is that people really get a grip on what they really want their destiny to be and that they create the right stories that help them get there. Love
it. Dude, great to see you, man. Starting this Saturday, I'm actually like out and about, so I can go see people, hug people, do whatever. I can't wait to do one of those, give you a big bro hug and make sure you're doing good. I'm glad you're doing well now. Great to see you on the comeback trail, Velocity Mindset. We will put all the links for the episodes, those listening to this, and where they could pick up a copy. And Ron Karr, thanks for coming back and checking back in here on Thrive Loud.
Thank you, Lou. Stay well, my friend.
You got it. And to all our listeners and viewers out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.